for the third paper for this morning entitled 21st Century Virtual Classroom, which will be presented by Mr. Sean Liddell, who is the founder of LearnerVerse and Scorecher. Please welcome Mr. Sean Liddell.
Hello. That's better. I can hear myself. Right. I still don't know how I'm going to get my picture from there. Is that... Oh, wonderful. Thank you. So this is just to put you all into a state of anticipation. There's no pressure on me at all. Don't worry, I don't feel it. There we go. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your help. I've got to say thank you very much to Keith and the UBSM team and everybody here for coming and inviting us at LearnerVerse. It's a very, very big honour for us to come to such a beautiful place. The institution here is probably the finest library that myself and my colleague have ever been to. So it's an absolute honour to be here. Thank you very much for inviting us. Thank you. When we were invited over here, it was to talk about the 21st century classroom. And when I started thinking about 21st century learning, and as Masaki said before, 21st century skills, it's always interesting to think about, well, if we look forward, if we're looking at where we are now and where we're progressing to, how can we ever look forward without looking back? So where we started was thinking about, well, how did we learn? How have we learned through the last century? So when we think about the 21st century, we can't start going forward without looking backwards. And up here you now see a very common learning method from the UK, from about 100, 200, 300 years ago, which hasn't changed. So we're here, we have the master and the apprentice. And in this case, it's the master baker showing the apprentice how to bake a loaf of bread. So this style has kept the same for hundreds of years. We shoot forward, and we go forward to classrooms where they have the didactic method, and we have large numbers of pupils, large numbers of students, and we have a lecturing style. Go forward even further, and we move into the Socratic method. So we start understanding that simply talking at people is not as effective as engaging them and questioning and supporting and listening to different views. So then we move forward still further to today, and we see that in our modern environment, in the real world, we still have exactly the same method and style of teaching, of learning, as we did have hundreds of years ago. So here you see the master teaching his apprentices about networks and network cabling. So the style of teaching, the style of learning, hasn't changed within hundreds of years, but what has? And what has the biggest impact? Does anybody recognise this? Yes? Good. Does anybody still use one? Yeah? No? Yeah? No. Okay. How about this? Okay, so we all recognise it. Okay, can us just show of hands who's got one of these? Yes? Okay, nearly everybody. That's what I expected to see. So what we've got is a change in technology. How's that impacted the 21st? How will it impact the 21st century classroom? And that's what we need to consider. The style hasn't changed that much, but technology impacts it massively. So what will it look like in the next 100 years? And this is something that's almost impossible to say, because the pace of technology, the pace of change, is so fast. But what we have got is, we have three aspects from the Open Colleges study that say about learning, and they say there are three aspects that are going to take us forward of learning and skills in the 21st century. And the three aspects are real-world education. So now we understand that education and learning does not simply take place in the classroom, or does not simply have to take place in the classroom. It can take place here today, in this wonderful auditorium. It can take place outside by the lake. It can take place as you're jogging around that wonderful, wonderful site. Or it can take place anywhere you think, anywhere you want to. The second aspect, online courses. And this is very much the here and now. That's available to us here and now. But what does that mean? It means that we can access through technology, learning and knowledge wherever we want it, whenever we want it. And the third aspect is learning analytics. So now we get a chance to understand all of the statistics, the data behind our learning. So this means that we can understand exactly how each individual person learns best. What's the best delivery method? We can understand who is learning and who isn't. And we can help support them when they need it. And we can also help people that really want to progress at their own pace. So these are three aspects of the here and now of the 21st century that we've got to look forward to. There are technologies out there like augmented reality and virtual reality. And whilst they are definitely technologies of the future and will help us to learn in the new classroom, they're not available worldwide just yet, and they're very niche products. Virtual reality, for example, if you look at my colleague here, at the moment he's using the VR headset and the paddles to try and put a basketball into the basket behind him on the computer screen. But you can't imagine 30 children in the classroom doing this. I mean, it's tremendous fun, and obviously, if you've had a go and you haven't, please do. And it can be used, and certainly with UBSM, we do have a partner that does do a fantastic virtual reality product. But it's not available to everybody. The cost is prohibitive. The learning to actually use this is prohibitive for teachers, and they simply teachers. We all come from an educational background. We're all educators ourselves, and we understand the challenges of time, and we simply do not have the time to learn everything that we would love to. Augmented reality is exactly the same. It's a fantastic technology that is coming in, that's being used now, but in the classroom, it's a niche technology. It's found its niche certainly in things like advertising, apps, tourism, wonderful for there. But in the classroom, it's still not the here and now. It will be, but not the here and now. What we have got, though, as we said before, are online courses. And they are the here and now. Now we've got a chance for everybody, adults and children, to learn where they want, when they want, and how they want. We have the opportunity to have experts, subject experts, from across the globe to deliver learning to any country in the world at any time to suit you, and also to record that knowledge. So the learning is not just carried out within this auditorium here and lost forever. It just stays with us, and we get a chance to take it away from here. Now, this learning can take place virtually online, and you can record it, and then it stays with you forever in your system, and you can play it back and back and back. There's a quote by Thomas Edison, which is, "Genius is 1% inspiration." I don't know how I could forget that. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And don't worry, I'm not referring to myself as genius. I'm actually one of the other 99%. So I just work hard to achieve things. I'm certainly not a genius at all. But certainly with all of my colleagues here in this room, what can we achieve by working hard? Technology enables us to achieve more by working hard. But it also enables us to work that much easier and to achieve more by doing less, which is what technology should be here to do. So if you look at e-learning, why should we use e-learning? Why are online courses so used today? We talked about the availability. We talked about the fact that they're here when you want, where you want. You get instant feedback. And in these days of convenience and instant learning, what a great method of delivery. We don't have to wait for a week to get feedback. We can just wait for not even an hour. You can get instant feedback from any assessments or anything that you've done, even if it's a live interaction across the globe. It's very cost effective because we're using economies of scale. Technology enables us to bring the cost right down. The content is constantly updated, but you have to make sure of this. With anybody that you ever partner with, you must make sure that their content delivery is future-proof and it doesn't just stay static. The other thing, of course, is that it's very green. And as we know, in this day and age, to reduce our carbon footprint is absolutely essential to look after this world that we live in. So what we did at LearnerVerse was we had a look around and saw what resources were available for learning, for online courses. And whilst we can see lots of disparate companies out there, people like Khan Academy, which is a fantastic platform, there is nothing, there was nothing, there isn't anything that consistently does what our platform does. So Khan Academy, wonderful, but you have 25 different lessons on the same subject delivered by 25 different teachers using 25 different methods and styles. With our platform, what we've done is you have English taught by English teachers. You have mathematics, and you have the sciences, you have STEM, which are all broken down into very, very easy to watch videos. And the videos are all about 3 minutes to 8 minutes long. So as educators, we're very aware it's about having a complementary method, not a replacement, because teachers, I know a colleague again asked how many teachers were here, and there's a lot of teachers here today. So we understand that it's all about protecting our position and indeed making it easier for you guys to deliver, and also get more response and get more results from your students, the results that they want. So we have about 2,500 videos for your students to access at any time, using any device, whenever they want. So it can be at home, it could be homework, set as homework, or it could be set as a complementary part of the lesson, but never to replace the lesson. Here you can see an example of one of the lessons. This is our colleague Top, and he's taking part in a science lesson. We have up there assessments as well. So the assessments take place so that we can track everybody's progression and produce graphs so the students can see how they're progressing or where they're not progressing, or indeed find a wee bit of trouble. And that's when we know that we need to put the support in, or they know that they need to get some support. And this is also open to teachers. So the teaching, the learning establishment can access all of this information and find out, again using instant feedback, getting instant feedback, they can find out who needs support or who is skipping ahead very, very quickly. And so you enable them to go as fast as each student wants to, and you have the true personalised learning. There's a profile for each student that we've introduced into the system, so the students can all track their progress and see for themselves exactly what videos they've viewed, what assessments they've done, how many times they've taken the assessments, the average scoring, so they can see their progression, and it will motivate them to see themselves progressing. I've used this with my son, and my son uses it with his friends, and they phone each other up, and they'll be online with the assessments, doing exactly the same tests. And they'll all be doing the lessons and saying, oh, I got 72%, what did you get? And then somebody else, one of his other friends, I got 74%, I'm better than you. And they'll all go backwards and forwards. And it's incredible just to hear this phone conversation taking place while they're online with each other, doing this learning, the mathematics or English. It's incredible, they're actually wanting to do it for themselves. So it's introduced a little bit of gaming and competition with them, some friendly rivalry. It's real fun. So we've introduced real independent learning for each child. They can monitor their own progress, and there are active graphs there for themselves to track their progression. Also in here is an interactive live element. So now we have HD audio and video web conferencing. And how this works is if you have somebody come into your school or learning institution, then you can video them and keep that video and upload it so it can be part of the LearnerVerse ecosystem forever. So you have that knowledge forever, it never gets lost. Also, if you have any English lessons to be taught and you want to access our bank of English teachers, then you can do so at any time to suit you. And we have English teachers back in the UK that will deliver from the UK into your learning organisation to as many students as you want, either 1, 10, or 100, or 1,000 at the same time. So you can have an English teacher delivering English language lessons in your schools. We're capable of delivering up to about 50,000 classrooms at once, one teacher. Obviously, we would never advise that, but it just gives you an idea of the capabilities of the technology. And there's one of our fantastic English teachers there who's ready to spring into action at any time that you want them to.
Hi, in today's lesson we're going to continue with construction, but we're going to be looking at constructing quadrilaterals. Now remember, quadrilateral is a four-sided shape. We need to have knowledge of constructing triangles before we move on to constructing quadrilaterals.
That's Jenny Koo. She's a mathematics teacher based over in a little place called Chester, which I don't know if anyone's heard of. Anyone heard of Chester? No, of course we haven't heard of Chester. I don't know what I'm talking about. Tall Chester. Who would know Chester? Well, it's a lovely part, a bit like here actually. It's very, very scenic. A beautiful part of the UK, but we have a bank of teachers, and that's where Jenny's from. What we've also got is a career facility. So if students want to see where they want to go and want to get an idea about their future in this working life, then they can. Simply by putting in their details of what they're studying, we will match, using our algorithms, the professions that they match, and then it will give them an idea of their progression. If they want to go to university, it will tell them how to get there. If you want to hear from people in the actual jobs themselves about the good and the bad parts of the jobs, then we have shot loads of video content there where people will get a realistic view of what the careers are actually part of. And then there's a wee bit of gamification where people can share socially on Facebook or Twitter anything they want with their timelines and share with their friends about what they want to do for their future. The data that we've got that's accessible to you at any time you want is part of the system. So now you have all this data which can be managed however you want within Microsoft Excel, and you can look at classes, years of pupils, you can split it down into individuals, or you can put any types of groups together that you would want to. And that will give you access to what lessons have been viewed, all the results, all of the graphs. So that's beautiful for finding out who's working well, who's working averagely but still hitting the mark, and who isn't and who needs that support. So you can put that support into place well before the end of the year so they can achieve more than they would do with their exams. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, any computer device. And the important thing is that it's unlimited access, there's no cap. So pupils, anybody, can watch the videos as many times as they want, wherever they want. We can also make them bespoke, so there's a couple of models that we made back in the UK. On the left you can see an apprenticeship model that we built for a company, and on the right is a health and safety model. So it uses exactly the same engine that we have there for LearnerVerse, but we just have your design on the front. It's very, very easy for us to do. So that's another option that we offer. If you already have content, then we have a do-it-yourself system. So your content could be part of the LearnerVerse system to be managed and used for the rest of the time. Or if you wanted to create content, you could set it as projects for the pupils, or any teachers might want to do that, and then they can add that into the system, and it doesn't just get lost as part of a learning management system, it gets actually put into the strand of biology that you may be teaching, or the strand of English, or the strand of history. So it's always kept and used for your organisation. So if you have any questions or contacts, myself, I unfortunately have to fly back to the UK as soon as I finished here. And I've got a plane that's broken down apparently at the airport, so I'm just hoping it works when I get there. But my colleague Paul will be here for the rest of the day. So we'd love to hear from anybody. and we'd love to start talking to people about how we can help support you with English language or with any other form of learning. Are there any questions so far? No questions. No. Sean, just get on with the rest of the presentation. That's what everyone's saying. Right, let's see if I can work this. Here we go. Amazing. Hey! There we go. So I'm not as technophobic as I thought I was. So what we did was we took what we learned with education, because being all educators, and we thought, well, one of the aspects of the Open Colleges study was real-world education. So we thought, how can we help children, pupils, students, anybody, any of us, learn in the real world? So we're all mad football fans, we're all mad sports fans, and we thought, well, what's the most watched, the most enjoyed sport in the world? So, what is the most watched sport in the world? Soccer. Soccer, thank you very much. Yes, indeed. Yeah, football. Football. What a great sport. And even if you don't play it, you probably know somebody that loves it as well. And I know everybody over here is football mad. You're even worse than we are in the UK. It's incredible. I've been getting into taxis and people have been saying, oh, Liverpool, and Coutinho, he's fantastic, isn't he? And Manchester United, they're not doing so well this year. I've been having these conversations with all these brilliant taxi drivers, and I'm thinking, oh, you know more than all taxi drivers and my friends back home. It's incredible. So football. We thought, well, how can we introduce learning and education to football? So what we've done is we've introduced Scorecher. We've introduced 21st century learning into football. So we've built an online coaching from the Premier League platform for football skills.
Hi, I'm Lee Sharp, former Man United, Leeds, Sampdoria, Torquay, Exeter, Grundavik. And I'm supporting Scorecher just because, as a kid, it's something that I would have really wanted. You get the nutrition, the dietitians, the exercises, the drills, and you get to live like a pro. I think every kid, especially when I was young, slept in my football boots, slept in my football, ate, breathed, slept football, just loved it to bits, and to get what a pro does from day to day, eat like they do, train like they do, I just think is an absolutely incredible site to go to.
So that's Lee Sharp. Some people may recognise him from Manchester United, ex-professional football player. He's one of our business partners. What we've done is partner with several ex-football players, and what we've done is built the platform.
It is really exciting to be working with legends who play for clubs such as Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Everton and Leicester City. It is amazing to get to meet Emil Heskey. He is a personal hero of mine.
Scorecher is basically, for me, it's a grassroots community that's going to encourage coaching football and encourage people that wherever they are in the world, whoever they are, whatever their ability is, they can improve their footballing ability, their health, their everything within this community.
And Emil Heskey, ex-Leicester City and Liverpool player, again is one of our business partners. So the platform looks at football skills, but it also includes so much more. We have sports psychologists to work on people's mindsets and introduce a growth mindset and make people more positive, help children understand how to deal with the negative parts of life and help them become more positive. There's health and well-being and diet and nutrition, because as you'll see a wee bit later on, there's so many concerns about obesity, the obesity epidemic that's overtaking the world. So we've included that as the main part of the platform. So obviously you can access it anywhere you want, anytime you want, online. And it's using FA, Premier League accredited coaches, so they're recognised as the best coaches in the world. Everyone has a profile, all the students have a profile, so they can share, they can play against each other, they can get these badges and get their bronze, silver, gold, and choose their own position. So if they're an attacker, or a goalkeeper, or a defender, they have all the individual skills and lessons that they can learn in. So you've got everything there that they could hope to have. They can also upload their own video content and take video of them using their own phones, using computers, tablets, anything, and then you can upload pictures of themselves. So hopefully, and this is our great hope, that somewhere here in this magnificent place that we have some students that use the Scorecher platform and upload video of themselves playing football or demonstrating their skills, and they get scouted, because our network is worldwide. So we have teams all over the world, America, UK, everywhere, who are looking for the next football star. So we want to find that next football star and help them to achieve it and get them into their football teams. The diet and nutrition is incredibly important, so we've partnered with some world-class academic professors to provide us with the plans and also a way to introduce a point system. So if you eat more healthily, you will get more points. If you sleep and rest more, you will get more points as well. So it all adds in. So you have league positions and people can play against each other and play against their friends. It's all about getting fitter and winning points for fitness. So what we're looking to do is really tackle the obesity epidemic head on and do whatever part we can. You'll learn new skills and practice them and video yourselves and share them with friends and upload them and get seen by different teams from across the world. And again, you'll win points for improving your own game. And again, like I said, you can challenge anybody. So we could have somebody from Malaysia, from Sarawak, challenging somebody from Liverpool. So we could have two children challenging each other on their tablets, demonstrating their skills. And I won't do my football time has passed, but you get the idea. Practicing their skills, and they can award points to each other. And again, they can move up in their leagues and see how far they can go and get their bronze badges, silver and gold. We also have a complete program, so that if anybody wanted to attend seminars and hear Premier Legends speak, but not just English Premier Legends, but also legends from around the world. We're talking to several football players from here, from Thailand, and from other countries around Southeast Asia. And what you can also do, of course, is record this and save it as HD audio and video, so we can play it back anytime. But you can talk to all these football legends. Anybody could talk and ask them questions if they wanted to, but from your home. It's a fantastic opportunity to learn something that normally we would never get access to. The important thing, obviously, is being able to access it on any computer device, 24 hours a day, especially when they're on the football field. So that's the main thing. That's what we wanted to really look at. These stats are the obesity percentages for the countries for young people. So as you can see, the USA and the UK are at a third. Malaysia is at 42%, Thailand at 34%, Qatar is at 75%. So there are some real issues globally there that we need to tackle. And that's one of the primary reasons that we came up with the idea of Scorecher. One of the other things that we've thought about as well, of course, is how to learn English through the medium of football. So now you'll have video content delivered by English, I've got to say Welsh, Scottish, Irish people, but from the UK, live and recorded. So teachers, as well as students, children, will be able to have the English language experience as well. So we're madly passionate about not only wanting to create more footballers, but to help the world become fitter. And these are our business partners right now. You may notice, you may recognise some of the players, or not, but you can see here, we've got stars from Liverpool, Emile Heskey, Manchester United, Lee Sharp, Natasha Harding, Liverpool and Wales, and we're bringing more women footballers on, because to us, having an equalised profile is very, very important. John Hartson, who used to play for Arsenal, West Ham, Celtic. Neville Southall, who was actually one of the greatest goalkeepers of the 20th century. Matt Elliott, Leicester and Scotland. David May from Manchester United. Peter Reid, who was actually Thailand national manager. Everton, Manchester City and England. And we have more partners as well coming on board. And that's the not so good looking Scorecher team, I'm afraid, that I've got to leave you with. We're not all the best looking, but we try to do the best that we can with the technology that we have. So if you have any questions or we can help at any time, then please feel free to talk to myself or Paul, or there's some details on there. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw, for sharing valuable and interesting information. As a token of our appreciation towards our speaker, once again, we would like to invite Mr. Maziwan Rosali, the Sector Head of ICT Services, to present our mentor to Mr. Sean Liddell. Please welcome. Thank you, Mr. Wamazi, and thank you, Mr. Sean.